Валентина, мне тогда зайти как организатору? Все, вижу, что запись пошла.
Да,
Да.
я вот об этом же, да, об этом же, что прежде, а, прежде Ирина предупреждала всех, как организатор мероприятия, о том, что наша встреча записывается, и это важно осознавать, потому что все, что мы здесь говорим, все темы, которые мы затрагиваем, они доступны и другим людям, и поэтому это важно знать сейчас, конечно, прежде чем мы начнем. Вот, ну тогда я вот сейчас это озвучила, и я думаю, что мы можем тогда переключиться. Да, Ирина, да, спасибо большое, что сообщили. Да, я просто не совсем поняла, как мне преподносить эту информацию, но я думаю, что я справилась. Well, now we can switch to English, and I'm really grateful that you have found time to join me here on the seminar. And of course, I would like you to share with us what you're feeling right now, what expectations maybe you have from today's meeting. Uliana, you're welcome. Yes, I see that.
Do you think I'm the bravest one to start? About my emotions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to see you again. It's been very interesting and very thought-provoking. Our last meeting, we raised a few eternal and common to maybe everybody themes during the previous discussion, and I hope that the same we'll do here. We'll get some valuable retrospectives by other members, and it will be useful for us to
Yes,
share
thank you.
our impressions. Yeah.
Thank you, Uliana. Thank you. Yes, Sasha, you're welcome.
I'm glad to take part in such an interesting event. And I'm actually a bit thrilling because I'm not as fluent in English as I would want, as I wanted to be, but I'm trying to do the best, and I hope that it will help me to express my thoughts and feelings in English because it's interesting for me, and also discussing psychology through reading English prose is a very interesting idea. So thanks to Valentina to invite me. Thanks.
Thank you. Likewise, I'm really thrilled about the topic. I believe that this is something that can inspire us to enjoy life, actually, to enjoy life, to understand it more, and to enjoy it in the long run. Natasha, what about you? How are you feeling, and what expectations you've got?
I haven't got any expectations. I guess I have a little curiosity about what we're gonna hear today, and I haven't read any book. Was there any special homework?
Yes, for every seminar, we are supposed to read a story so that we
Okay.
can actually discuss it. But you can be participating anyway because you certainly have some ideas, and we don't reduce our discussion to the narrative itself. We speak about life, we speak about psychology. So anyway, we can listen to your ideas about some topics that will be raised.
Okay, sure. Great.
Right, thank you. Thank you. And let me then start with a few ideas about the author that I have chosen for today's seminar. And tell me if you can see my my slides.
Yes, we can see.
Please.
Right. Thank you. And today we will look into one very interesting story, and it's named Miss Brill by Catherine Mansfield. When I first saw this name, Miss Brill, I was intrigued, to tell you the truth, because well, first of all, it attracts graphically because we have Miss with the double S on the end and Brill with double on the end. And it's a captivating title, I should say. And knowing Catherine Mansfield, I think it was intentional. Miss Brill actually is a kind of antonomasia, a kind of technique that refers to speaking name. And Miss Brill is the short one for brilliant. And as we know, Miss Brill in her story imagines herself as a brilliant actress on stage. So understanding that we can see that Catherine Mansfield is a bit ironic concerning this personality and concerning what is happening to Miss Brill in the story. Within this seminar, I would like to connect the events that we see happening in Miss Brill's life, the development of her personality, and some ideas from value-oriented psychology that we can find in Oleg Georgievich Godetsky's books. And a few words about Catherine Mansfield. Some of you may know that she is from New Zealand. However, at 19, she moved to London, and her works are published worldwide. And every time I read her stories, I am surprised at the ingenuity with which she uses language. We can see a lot of symbols, a lot of implications in the story, allusions, and going through the story, of course, we just get captivated, get enthralled, and after reading it, we stop and think what it is all about. And I think it actually doesn't leave any reader cold. So we understand that she has this knack for enthralling the audience. We also know that she is an important figure in modernist movement, along with Virginia Woolf and David Lawrence. And among other themes, she explored the themes of anxiety, personal relationships, existentialism, and she died very young, at 34. As they say, she ran up the stairs and died. So this was a kind of sudden, very, very sudden death. Today, I would like to draw your attention to the following questions. We have, what are the key ideas in the story? Which one resonates with you? What scene, in your view, is the climax in the story and why? And what language peculiarities attracted your attention? Is it possible for you to take a picture of these questions so that I can return to you?
Yes, I took the picture.
Uliana, what about you?
Please, pardon me, can you repeat the question?
Is it possible for you to take the picture of this slide?
Oh, right now. Okay.
Or maybe just jot down the question.
I can do it with my computer, not with my phone.
Oh, right, just a
I
print screen.
remembered.
Yes. Managed. Right, so then I will return to you. So we don't have a lot of students today, so I think that there's no need to actually divide into groups and to go to those breakout rooms. So we can just talk here in this main room. And I would like you to share with me some ideas on the first question that we have. So, what are the key ideas in the story in your view?
I think, as to me, the key idea was about the role that Miss Brill was playing in her life. And we actually didn't know almost anything about her person while reading this story, but first we found that she was looking at the life which surrounds her, and she was happy to hear some uh, some dialogues from another people, from another persons, and she was glad to take part in their life just through listening to them. And one moment she found that all the life is similar to the play, and she plays also the role, that's and so she's an actress, and as she is an actress, she was it may it was she was glad to feel like actress because maybe she didn't know who she is at all, and it was also a dialogue with an old man to whom she was reading some some news, or I don't know, some poems, and she said to him that she's an actress, but uh, then she found while she was when she met a young pair of boy and girl, or young woman and man, then she heard that she's a bad actress, I guess, and it was very it hurted her, and so I and I guess she was crying, and we found that she is an old woman, a very old woman, and other people doesn't like her.
Thank you, Sasha.
So yes.
Thank you. You have drawn our attention to one very important point, that she probably didn't know who she was, actually, because she was constantly living in her mind vicariously through the life of other people. And this certainly doesn't leave you any opportunity to look at yourself. Actually, only with the help of the couple, of the boy and the girl, did she manage to have some tiny, maybe what not tiny, just manage to get some idea of how others can perceive her. Thank you. Yes,
I
Uliana.
think the main idea of this story, short story, is humans' loneliness, especially when taking into consideration the old age. She is so lonely and isolated, and but she also longs for connection, for validity, for acceptance. So she goes as for work every Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon.
Right.
At the same time, she goes to the center of the city to take part in the performance, as she calls to herself, and to feel that she's not alone, that she belongs to a society, that she has some value as a person, as a member, and she deceives herself, but it provides her some emotions of warmth, of communication, and actually, yeah, it is self-deceit, but it helps her to cope her lonely life of an elderly person who has nobody to share her emotions, her views, but she can only join to life, vibrant life, only like a passive observer through hearing. I forgot the word, but
Overhearing. Overhearing. Eavesdropping.
Overhearing.
Maybe you mean
Вот,
eavesdropping.
eavesdropping, да. It's maybe quite innocent. She doesn't try to eavesdrop, but she enjoys the short dialects from the people who surround her. And yeah, that was a stark contrast when she overheard the dialogue about herself, about her looks, about her precious fur that she treats like a living creature, like maybe her pet. And this cruel dialogue against her gives her like a cold shower, and she goes home even without dropping into a favorite coffee shop to grab some honey cake. And when she takes off her fur, like I don't know what is it. The young lady said that it looks like whitening, jet whitening, and she puts it into the box, and then she hears that something is crying from outside,
That's
from
true.
inside the box. So it is very, very touching and sad, maybe.
Heart-rending. And Sasha mentioned that it is as though she were crying. So
I think this piece of fur was crying from outside inside the box.
Thank you, Liana. That's a very important, actually, point to draw attention to this coping strategy that exists in her life. It's a kind of coping strategy that she uses. Natasha, Sergey, would you like to maybe add something, to comment on something?
No. Yes, of course. Do you hear me?
Yes, Sergey, yes. Thank you for joining.
Yes. I first joined, then some working call to me, and so I would interrupt, and now I'm back again. And just before meeting, I read this story. What I like in all your stories, rich language. So flamboyant, many new words. So I look in vocabulary all the time, and something that we miss in our life. And we think that English is so simple, but it's very rich language. Maybe I'm wrong, but 5 times more words in English than in Russian. Something like in times more words in English. And first, when I start to read, just to point, what about this story? First, when I started to read, I thought, what for Valentina sent us this story? Because just description of this Sunday and many details, but I was sure that Valentina sent some story which has philosophical meaning somehow, and at the end there was philosophical meaning, and it is that conflict between generations, nothing more but conflict between generations. So young boy and girl flirting on next bench, they talk about this, not say old lady, but aged, some older than, let's say, not very young lady, and it was very rude to her. So they appreciate her like something to throw away in the trash, and she appreciates herself like she's still young, still pretty, and this conflict made her Sunday, ruined her Sunday, let's say, ruined her Sunday. And what is something about modern life? What I hear from the street, even in Akademgorodok, which is relatively good place in Novosibirsk, when you go to beach or somewhere in the street, where is many young people, they use these cursed words, and I sometimes like this in literature. When it is real literature, some authors use, but I hate when young or women use these cursed words, because young should be clean and they are dirty, and it always make me angry. So lack of what to say, not education, but people are well-bred and not well-bred. So youngsters think that it's okay, they use these curse words, but it's not okay. And this story reminds me this situation, that youngsters use their own language and it is not applicable to other generation. It hurts somehow other generation, and that is what I found in the story. I don't know how to react on this. Once, if I said something to this youth, that it's not allowed to use this lexica, they say, why you hear us? Why you hear us? And if we sit somewhere listening music and they use this, I inevitably hear them. So, and this is really something I don't like. I don't like on the street. And by this way, I don't like many people in one place in Russia. In Finland, you like people which you meet on the street, because before you meet one person, you meet one duck, one hedgehog, one hare. So it's forest, even if it is a city, and people meet and they smile and they're glad to meet each other. And I don't like to meet people on the street in Novosibirsk, because they use this language, and I don't like too many people. They spoil somehow environment. But this is what we cannot avoid. And this story reminds me this situation. Yes, that's all what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Sergey, for sharing your ideas. Yes, Natasha, I see that you have raised a hand. I would like to comment a bit on what Sergey has mentioned. I believe that youngsters, young people that we meet, the young people that we meet on the streets, they may actually have a lot of wonderful ideas and a lot of, really brilliant thoughts. It's just that at some point they haven't been taught, maybe they haven't, had a model figure to follow in their life. So, but I do agree that it hurts. It hurts when you hear a lot of invectives, a lot of expletives from the young people on the streets. So that's something, yes, as a fact, Yes, Natalia, you're welcome. What idea would you like to see?
Thank you. Thank you, Valentina. And I want to say it was interesting to hear Sergey, and I can relate to his experience, because yes, Cursing nowadays is you can hear it more often than before. That's a fact, unfortunately. But at the same time, I have different experience in my city, and I percept life as a little bit different. I actually agree with you, Valentina, that there is always a reason why this is happening at the moment in our society. At the same time, I work with children a lot, and I can tell you for sure, even today, everyone is very different. They are not the same. We cannot say all youngsters are like that or like this. We can't say that. Everyone is very different. And there are so many really, really good children and teenagers, respectful, really well abroad. And I see that every day. Yes, there are some difficulties. Yes, there are children like that, for sure. But majority is not that bad, actually. Same children as we were. And yes, the morality is a bit different from the TV and from media and from society, but still, there's so many really, really good children and teenagers. And I see them every day. And I believe in them. And I support them. And actually, on that note, as I said from the start, I haven't read the story. And if you can tell me in a few words, what's the gist of story, what was there, I would really appreciate. I'm quite curious now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Natalia. What do you say if we actually go into breakout rooms? Because I see 1, 2, 3, 4 students now who would like to actually actively participate in discussion, and I think, well, it's a good idea. What do you think? Because then Natasha will certainly get the answer, and I think it would be beneficial if I can, though. Though I don't actually see this button. For some reason, I don't have this button when I can actually organize rooms. Natasha, can you organize rooms?
Yes, let me help you. Yes.
Mhm.
So you would like to breakout rooms, right?
Yes.
For
Two
4
rooms
of us.
with me,
Yes.
just having the opportunity, opportunity to join those groups.
Just 1 second. Can I make you co-host and maybe just give me a few minutes for that? And while that, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about story. Okay, just give me
Yes,
time.
but the
So
story.
Oh,
Yes,
I would like to mention that I found some, I guess, parallels in this story because that a couple of young women and men, they named this Miss Brill as stupid old thing. They didn't see a person in Miss Brill. They said that she is thing, and actually her fur that she used in the beginning of the story also was a fur thing, and this thing had eyes, and she made this her I don't know fur with little eyes. She rubbed the live back into the dim little eyes of this fur, and actually maybe she also tried to feel more alive while looking at this scene of life around her. And she was glad to feel her alive, but after all, she found that other people saw different in her, and it was very harmful to her. And also they said that she was she had a Meg, I guess, a Meg,
Right.
and when she came back to her house, to home, her home was similar to cupboard, where she is living like Meg in cupboard.
A mug,
So
a mug.
mug, yes, sorry, mug. And maybe I don't know, and maybe it was also a scene where a woman with this met a man, Ermine Toke, yes,
Mhm.
a
This is
woman
a woman. A woman is
a
named
woman
Ermin Toke.
with Ermine Toke. How to
Ermin
pronounce
Toke.
Ermine Toke? Yes.
Mhm.
She had a conversation with a man, and actually she hoped to meet him in the afternoon, but he was very rude and just passed away as she is not here. It was, I think maybe it was similar to uh, some uh, some things that happened in the life of this Miss Brill in her past. Maybe she became so lonely because of such the similar situation.
That's a
Maybe.
very shrewd observation, a very shrewd observation. Thank you, Alexandra. The fact is that there is the issue of identification that is raised in the story. Miss Brill first identifies herself with the fur, actually. So it's done unconsciously. Certainly, she would never admit it, never. But as you have drawn our attention to it, Sasha, it was a thing that she calls dear little thing, right? She calls the fur stole, and the parallel with the couple that call the woman actually stupid old thing, right? So there is this parallel. She also identifies herself with the ermine toque that she sees, because there was this yellowish paw that she describes. However, again, she would never admit it. And this is how our mind works. We notice something in our world, we project part of ourselves, the part that we deny, actually. And this theory goes back to Freud's defensive mechanisms. And this is just one aspect that I wanted to touch upon today, but because it's clear, it's kind of clear in the story. Natasha, how are you going with those breakout rooms?
Unfortunately, I cannot make you a co-host because I am co-host.
It's
I
okay.
don't have this. I can
Is there an opportunity just to split us
organize
in
break.
2 rooms? Yeah, just to
Okay.
organize 2 rooms.
Okay, one more minute. Okay, just a second.
Mhm. Because I would like you to benefit from discussion. When I give a presentation, it's more about a monologue, more about like lecturing, but it's very important, of course, to share your ideas. And we haven't touched upon 2 points. This is the climax in the story, which is related to the main conflict, and language, the language peculiarities that you have found. Mhm.
So yes, I'm ready to activate 2 breakout rooms
Thank
with
you.
the automatically assigned people, if it's okay.
Automatically assigned. I think it's very important for those who would like to practice their language to be together. It's Ulyana, you, Sasha, and Sergey to have 2 rooms with, for example, Sasha and Sergey and Ulyana
okay.
and
I'll
Anya.
assign. Okay. Who wants to go with whom?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think, yes, you should decide.
We obey to our doom,
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
destiny,
Let it be unexpected.
Uh-huh.
right?
Can't see myself here. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's technical points. May I add something?
Yes, of course, Sergey, you're welcome.
So not to be silent at all
Mhm.
while it's in process.
Mhm.
Just yesterday I watched movie Graf Monte Cristo, French movie of 2024, very fresh movie, which reminds me how he spent his 4 years of life in that box in prison on the island, and it was really poor life. And what advice I would give to that old woman? Enjoy life. It might be worse. It might be worse. So don't pay attention on this whispering about her fur. Just enjoy this. Why pay attention on these two youngsters? Why not pay attention on this orchestra which play music and all this sky which is described in the story, all this beautiful landscape, etc. So she should remember about this Graf Monte Cristo 4 years in closed box behind the earth on this island and enjoy life. So that would be my advice to this old woman.
And to us all, and to us all.
Yeah,
What a
sounds like a good
wonderful
idea to be
Thank
grateful for what we are having right
Yeah,
now.
make the most of what we actually are having at the moment, right? Thank you.
On our English club, there was presentation of Mike Udin. So he described that 10 minutes presentation, but the main idea that it is dark period before life on the earth and dark period after life on the earth, and very short period of life on the earth. And we should enjoy life on the earth until it will be ended and
Mhm.
will
Yes.
be dark. He said like that. It great period of dark, then very short period of life, light, and then again period of dark. So
Mhm.
enjoy this period of light.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Natalie, can we now go to rules?
Mm-hmm. Yes, but it says that there's someone left, right? I think Sergey has left.
Mhm. Suddenly, out of the blue.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
The
really?
working situation again, I think.
Yeah, some call maybe, yes, or some technical disturbance. Well, he actually may join us a bit later, as
okay.
it sometimes happens. So they just pop up and they can be reassigned a bit
Mm-hmm.
later.
I cannot assign manually because it doesn't let me then go to any room. So it will be automatically. If there is any problem, can you write me on Telegram and I will do it again, okay? So I will create now automatically. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, there's some mystery today with those.
The thing
rooms.
is, it puts, it doesn't put me into any room, just 3 of you.
Yes, because you can join. You can join. Ah, I understand now.
No, it doesn't let co-host to come.
I see. So you will be able to come, but as a person who just joins the room. So we don't have actually enough people, right?
We don't have enough people, exactly.
Okay, so let's just move on then. Let's just move on and
Mhm.
enjoy the process as it is. And the next point well, first of all, Natasha's request. Uliana or Sasha, would you like to outline the plot of the story?
Line the plot. I thought that we can discuss what was the climax of the story.
Natasha asked us to help her with the
Oh,
plot,
it
with
was
the
just,
main points. Maybe
like
Uliana,
it's like a stream of consciousness of this Miss Brill, who spends her every Sunday or Saturday in the center of a small town, enjoying other people's life because she doesn't have anything of her own. So she loves, enjoys sitting in some benches and it was dropping the conversations of other people, strangers, complete strangers, and very very sudden combinations. She enjoys staying for a moment in other people's lives. This is only one enjoyment. There is another enjoyment, a honey cake after the walk. She indulges herself and she she feels a participant of life. She joins life. She thinks that all of them are taking part in some play, in some stage performance that is called life, and she imagines that once they will start singing all together, all the people who are present in the square, and the author describes the performance of the orchestra very vividly. The orchestra adjusts its performance to the scenes that are going or passing by the main character's view. And for example, when this poor lady was humiliated by a rude guy, the orchestra started playing something very warm and something very cozy to comfort her. And when she leaves, they start playing something vibrant, some like marches and so on. And then a young couple comes, and a young boy wants something, maybe a kiss, maybe some sacred words, I love you, or something. But the girl denies him, and he gets irritated, and he says, "This is because of this old mug." He calls this poor lady, Miss Brill, old mug. Why does she have to come here every Saturday? Why doesn't she keep herself isolated in her own room? And the girl jiggled over her fur, precious fur. So it harmed her, it broke her heart, and she left home. And she even missed the usual ritual of visiting the coffee shop and taking some honey cake. She came home. She sat on the bed and felt as if she is the character who lives in the cupboard instead of her flat. And she took off her fur and put it into the box, and put the lid over the box, and suddenly she felt that something was crying from the box.
what a marvelous outline. Thank you. It's just really very detailed, to the point, at the same time concise, just marvelous.
About this old man, she was reading some news from the newspapers 4 afternoons a week.
Yes.
She also described him as ever sleeping, and she thought that if he has passed away, got dead, she wouldn't notice and she wouldn't even mind it. Strange remark.
Yes. Thank you. And it's an important point that she is probably an English woman living in France, and she teaches English to her pupils. And 4 afternoons a week, she reads a newspaper to some old man who is in bed, who is an invalid. Right, Natasha, yes, you have raised a hand. You're welcome.
Yes, I want to thank Uliana for this presentation of story. I think this is actually very important. Maybe for those who will see our seminar, this meeting online, or for those who will participate without opportunity to read in advance, it's great if someone can just tell the plot, the gist of the story. And Uliana said it so well. I had goosebumps, and I see it's a very deep story, philosophical and meaningful. And I see a lonely lady, and exactly there is a coping mechanism of music and reading and everything. So many things are there, and I'm even more curious now to read this story, and I will. Thank you, Uliana. Thank you, Valentina.
Thank you. I'm so excited about it. That's the whole point of my seminars, just to inspire people to read very good stories. Well, so still the next question that I would like to invite you to think about is the climax in the story. And the climax usually is this kind of crescendo point, right? The point that is related to the conflict, the main conflict in the story. Yes, Sergey, would you like to
No, it's okay. It's
Okay.
okay.
I would like to
You're welcome.
point, in my opinion, the climax was when she felt like they all are going to sing, and she was ready to sing, but not to be the first who starts to sing, and she expected that this young couple of boy and girl will be the first singers, and actually her expectations were failed, and she heard something that hurted her very much, and I think it was the climax, and showed the conflict.
Yes, thank you, Alexander. Yes, this point of elation that is described in the story right before the boy and the girl step in, so to say. This is exactly the culmination, so to say. Even the language actually reflects it, because she feels something that makes her sing, and then she realizes that they were all like participants of a play who are united in one story called life, and this is something that we all crave, actually, this feeling of being part of something bigger, being accepted by the society, by life. And we see that it was really important for Miss Brill. However, reality then butts in and disrupts this illusion. Right. Thank you, Sasha. Sergey, Uliana, would you like to comment on it?
Yeah, I agree that culmination of climax point is what you said, that when this young couple start commenting about this woman, and before she enjoyed, she felt like it's enjoyable situation, her Sunday, which she wait for a whole week, and then she dreaming about how she go to coffee shop and buy her biscuit, and what kind of biscuit she will buy. And then brutal reality broke her hopes, and she even missed her coffee shop. I would advise her not to miss coffee shop, and then everything will be okay, independently what this couple will say, youngster will say. So her main mistake that she missed coffee shop.
And maybe her cake is similar to her visits to this Sunday Sunday performance of music band, because she can get sometimes this cake with almond or without, and also this Sunday can be happen interesting or not, and this time it was very harmful to her.
Right. Yes, very interesting parallel, right? A honey cake with an almond and a sundae with an interesting story to it. Right. Yes, Uliana, anything to add?
I'm just thinking about why does life do it for us every time when we are on top of our elation? Why there is the next is the stark contrast between between our imaginary world and the cruel reality. I think we all here to take our own personal lessons. So I think her lesson is that she should think over her life, over her loneliness. How did she design her life in this way that she is a completely lone person? What did she do wrong? So life offers her not being in these illusions, but to see the life, the reality, the cold reality, and think, what did she do wrong? When, at what stage she was remained alone? And I think the author gives us some examples of her emotional detachment. For example, with this old gentleman who she didn't mind if he once she found him dead. And the lady in this Горностай, I don't know this word.
Ermine.
Ermin. She
Or
the
stove.
author didn't show her feeling sorry for this lady who was humiliated, who the guy breathed out the cloud of smoke out of his cigarette right into her face and marched away. But the Miss Brill wasn't sorry for this poor girl. As well as she wasn't to this lonely gentleman who was half alive or half dead. And maybe this her emotional coldness made her life like this.
It's an assumption. It's an assumption. However, concerning the Ermin talk, I would say that she felt sorry. Remember, right when this happened, Miss Brill heard the orchestra changing the tune, and there was the brute. Remember? So it's like this sound imitation, a bit sound imitation, because these are very sharp sounds, brute. And also there is this kind of reference to a thought that Miss Brill might have had concerning this gentleman. It's an assumption, but I think it's quite a viable
Oh,
assumption.
really? I didn't notice that it was her interpretation of the orchestra's playing. Yeah, it was her. It was coinciding with her feelings.
Yes,
Thank
right.
you, Valentina. I haven't noticed it while reading.
Thank you, Uля, for your...
And may I add some points? As I remember, this old invalid man
Invalid.
also he made a bit more alive when he heard that she was an actress, and he asked her. Well, are you an actress? And was she was breathing this newspaper as her words to as an actress? And she said, yes, I have only been an actress.
Actually, Sasha,
So-
may I interrupt? May I interrupt? This is
Yes.
actually a tricky point in the story because this is what she imagines. This is what she imagines.
Really?
She never, in fact, told the story to the man. It was all in her mind, and she imagines herself as an actress and just visualize who else can she talk to? Certainly
Yes.
not her pupils, not her younger pupils. She has just this older invalid, and she just imagines the scene,
Okay.
and she imagines
I
how
see.
thrilled he could have been.
Okay, I
If-
see. And what
Mhm.
about Uliana's question about how did she manage to organize her life in so unhappy way? Maybe it's because she was not acting. She was maybe she was playing her role, but she was not a man who plays this who write this play. She didn't write her own life. She was passive, and that's why she was like that thing. And it was a moment when she felt like she plays a role and hope that it is similar to life. But actually, then, and maybe this interaction with another persons, this young couple, maybe it was something like something that can make her some actions, maybe to take part in some event, not just observing, but conversating with someone, or maybe singing.
What a beautiful thought. What a beautiful thought to be an actor in life. Like, by the way, there is a kind of reference here to actress, right? I mean, an actress also has the same stem, act, right? It's kind of this underlying message, act in life, not be passive. Right, the beautiful thought. And I actually also enjoyed the thought Uliana shared concerning lessons. Life actually teaches lessons to us, and it's our aim in life to see what those lessons are. It's very, very important. Right, thank you for sharing it. Right, so now let me move on to the presentation. I think I will skip some parts and draw your attention to some other parts, since we don't have the time to cover everything. Well, you have mentioned loneliness, and certainly one of the themes, one of the major themes that we have. And we mentioned that lonely people sometimes choose to live vicariously through the lives of other people, which we see in this story. And we have touched upon the question of identification concerning the ermine toque and the way it behaved, and I commented on it. That's why I would like to move on and turn to this slide, that introduces the topic of identification. And generally, it is a process when the person assimilates a property of the other and is transformed by the model that the other provides. This is a kind of definition of identification. And this is something that we have been doing throughout our lives since we were born. Because when we are born, we identify ourselves with our parents. Mostly with the mother first, and it's kind of natural because we do not really deem ourselves apart from our mothers. We are just one whole with our mothers, and this is named primary identification. Some, by the way, continue living this way up to very old age, and we can see some examples in life, right? When older people sometimes even really old people, they cannot live separately from their mother, and their mother still kind of control their lives. So this is about primary identification. Narcissistic identification concerns the case when one of the leading figures is, well, let's say, disappears from life. Well, the mother or the father, they can die or they can leave. And then there is this introjection of this figure. And the person is focused on themselves entirely, because someone either leaves or dies. And partial identification, this is something that we come across every day. So when we admire some feature in a person, it means that we want actually this feature to be ours. We kind of identify ourselves with this. And this is also our unconscious at work. And we are mostly not aware of when it happens, but if we pay closer attention, this is beneficial. This is beneficial. This is something that can help us understand ourselves. And in this story, we see that cupboards serve as a kind of symbol of isolation. Miss Brill identifies herself with those older people because she kind of rejects them, right? So this is what she does. She criticizes them a bit, not much, but a bit. And she says, yes, they were odd, silent, nearly all old, and from the way they stared, they looked as though they just come from dark little rooms, or even cupboards. So this is her line. And we see that this is a kind of defense mechanism, actually. Our psyche prevents us from being hurt. So we look at others, we criticize them, but we don't notice that we are the same way. Yes, and later we see that there is this remark by the author, by the way. We have her room like a cupboard. So the author, Catherine Mansfield, draws our attention to the fact that, well, yes, this is a kind of projection mechanism, to be more precise, projection mechanism. So this is one of the psychological defense mechanisms. These are the strategies that result in the distortion of the reality in order for the person to be able to cope with everything that life offers, with life's vicissitudes. And we can see repression, denial, projection, displacement, regression, sublimation. And this is a table that describes these mechanisms. In this case, we can see projection. And as you see, this involves individuals attributing their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, and motives to another person. This is what we see in Miss Brill. Considering all these defense mechanisms, I believe the last one, sublimation, is the one that helps us step up and move on. So this is the mechanism that is involved when we start shifting our attention. And as Sergei actually offered, enjoy life, doing something. For example, creating something, playing music, singing, participating actively in some drama, I mean, in the meetings that stage some plays, why not? So we do have drama classes now quite acceptable to people. Yes, sport is another example of putting our emotions in something constructive. So I believe that is one of the best mechanisms that we all, actually, I think you all, now looking at you, I'm sure that you all have been using this defense mechanism a lot. And it may be...
I'm sorry,
Yes,
may I interrupt you in a moment? Recently, we were watching a documentary movie about Hayao Miyazaki, and he is an old man, and he was drawing the last animation movie during 7 years, and as he an old man, then many times it happened that his friend friends were dying, and it was always difficult for him, but he always sublimated his thoughts, his dark thoughts, and to make in making this animation movie, he was finding the best way to express the plot of this movie, and just trying another time and again, and finally he was found the right case, and it was the decision of his own problems, and he made, for example, he found the way how to say goodbye to his friend that he who died, and he was actually the person from this movie was symbolizing this man. So, and as an example of sublimation.
Yes, a great example, and I believe with all great people, not only great people, actually, as I said, we now tend to feel that this is a constructive way to solve our problem, right? What is your take on it? Sergey, Uliana, Natasha, what is your take on it?
Valentina, I agree with you that sublimation is a very constructive way to, how to say, sublimate your emotions, sometimes negative, to something positive. And if you look stories about great painters and some musicians, absolutely ugly people, but they do great things because they can sublimate their emotions to something constructive. What I should add to your excellent description of this phrase, psychological mechanisms, I look on this mechanism and I see that all these mechanisms are excellent. The last one is the best for human being. But for example, when I see displacement, I remember one story described in Konrad Lorenz's book, Aggression, so-called evil. Агрессия, так называемое зло. And he described this bird, name I forgot, name, Indюшка. And how? Turkey, yes. Turkey, of course, Turkey. Yes, and so when Turkey see her chickens, her little ones, she became so aggressive. They really make her very aggressive by their appearance. But when she hears their sounds, it somehow protects these little ones. But aggressions help her to so he displayed displacement aggression to other around her chickens. So they make her very aggressive by their appearance, but then make some sounds, and she understands that she should displace her aggression to other objects, and this is the way she protects her litter. So all mechanisms are good, especially in animal kingdom, but I completely agree with you that for human being, sublimation would be the best. But it's so people should train themselves to sublimate. It's not easy. It's not easy because we are animals, we are human beings in the same time, and sometimes for us it's more easy to use other mechanisms, and we should train ourselves to use sublimation That's excellent idea. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you. You just helped me to realize that in order to be human, we actually should go this way. We should learn to sublimate all our negative experiences. This is what it takes to be a human being. Because this distinction between animal behavior and human being behavior, this actually helps us realize that sublimation is the mechanism that makes us human.
And maybe that's why the art and all the ways of creativity are so helpful for people, because we can sublimate our thoughts, and something that hurts, or maybe the things that admire us, we can express them, and then we can move on.
Mhm. Yes, yes, what a wonderful thought. Thank you. Thank you. It's great. It's great. It's a great turn. It's a great turn of conversation. Well, let me continue now. And the second topic that is raised is actually illusions versus reality. And this is something that we also have discussed. In the world of illusions, we are actually in danger of losing ourselves. It's so important. And I think this is what Alexandra mentioned concerning Ms. Brill. She does live in the world of illusions. And then suddenly reality shows its darker aspect in her life, and she is bewildered. She's bewildered. She doesn't yet know what to do. So, and we leave her sitting on the red eider down at the end of the story, and she hears something crying, and I think this something is actually her soul, her heart. So this fur stole representing her heart, representing her soul. And I believe this is a turning point in her life. Probably, well, after this incident, she actually will start acting, as Alexandra assumed, and I do hope so. I think this is exactly the constructive way. This sublimation, so to say, a different mechanism, right? So kind of she used to use this projection all the time. Now I hope she will turn to a different one. Right, so I will probably skip these. We have discussed some of the ideas, and turn to another point, which is very, very important from my perspective, the point of loneliness being actually a result of functionalistic life. This is a special term, actually, functionalistic life. It means that we behave as, well, as a person who is assigned a particular function in life. In other words, we have roles rather than reveal what we truly are. So some people can think of themselves as bosses and be bosses everywhere. Some people can think of themselves as like janitors and being janitors everywhere. You know, it's also the case. It's like the other end of the pole, of the continuum, the other end of the continuum, when we don't really discover what we are deep inside, we tend to lead this kind of life, kind of functionalistic life. And in the long run, it actually leads to loneliness. And I came up with this picture of Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, because I think it is about this idea about functionalistic life, basically. And it results in this grotesque description of loneliness, really grotesque description.
Is it I'm sorry, is it a cockroach? Cockroach which is pinned with pin?
Yes, yes, pinned.
And what's the function it has?
This is about a person who
A
was
breadwinner to the family.
Yes. Yeah, so the person who was reduced to just his job, basically, in life. And that is part of his tragedy. And Franz Kafka grotesquely presented this idea in this book. But this is another story. Concerning this story, we actually see that, well, it's not yet the case in Miss Brill's life, because I think she's in the process. However, as Sasha, you mentioned, she doesn't act. She actually still thinks of herself as, some, fixed unit of society.
And I guess she hopes she's invisible. And when someone notices her, then she found that she was not happy what they see. And what about identification? Usually, when people are asked, who are you? Some people say that I'm a pupil, or I'm a man who have a car. I'm a dentist, and this reflects the function that this man has in his life. But there is another option when to say I'm me. I'm a person, and I have different functions. The functions may change from time to time, and so. And this Miss Brill, maybe she wanted to be brilliant, and actually, but actually she found one function, to be an actress, and she felt, as you said, unity with all the others, but it was just function. She didn't express her inner thoughts and wills, and she didn't feel her needs, I guess.
Yes, that's a good idea. And it's important also to add to what you have mentioned, that it was just in her mind. It was just in her mind. So she was an actress just in her mind. So her illusory world was reduced to her interpretation only.
Maybe it's difficult for a person to express the first time, because it's they can be scared because of the answer of the society, as this Ermin quote talk. Yes, she was interacting with that man, and he answered with a cloud of smoke to her face, and it was harmful. And so maybe she needs to try more and more and find the ways how to express herself to the society.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, this is something that we touched upon. Right. And as I see, we don't have a lot of time left. So what I would like to draw your attention to is this quote, the quote that I chose as a kind of conclusive, summarizing statement, and it is attributed to Viktor Frankl. And he said, "Say yes to life in spite of everything." And this correlates with the message that Sergey shared with us earlier, like enjoy life, make the most of what you have right now, right here, and then everything will be fine, and you will be sure that you have done everything in your power to express actually yourself, and to reveal what you are, to show yourself to this world, and thus kind of asserting your existence. Because very often it's important, a person realizes that it's important to, yes, to show that you exist through creativity, through some other actions. Actually depends on a particular person, but this is a huge point, right?
I
So
guess the older people have their experience, which can be very important to the young persons, and they can make some good advices to them, and that it can be the way to express themselves and their experience, and to be not useless in this life.
Yes, that's a very important idea, right? Thank you very much for being with me today. And I actually would like to ask you to share now what ideas have been really thought-provoking today. What ideas you will bear in mind and think about.
Mhm.
Yes, Sergey, you're welcome.
Yes, so when you show this beautiful picture of cockroach from Franz Kafka, I was thinking that it's a good parallel between these two stories. In the story of Franz Kafka, famous story that once a man found that he turned to be a big cockroach, and even sister cannot recognize him, etc. So life changed, and in this Miss Brill story, she gradually, eventually becomes sort of cockroach. So not very charming, not so beautiful like she was in her youth. And the idea, when you show this picture, the idea crossed my mind that when you grow up, of course you're not so good looking when you were younger, but appreciate yourself like you is. So I am a big cockroach, and I proud of this, and I proud of this. That should be her idea, and then she will be not hurted, maybe. So yes, but I like myself like a big cockroach. So it turns to be not my fault. It's just time passed. I was very nice earlier. So if she will read Kafka and listen your seminar, maybe she will next time be less sensitive to these comments from outside and like herself like she is now. So that was my thought.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yes. So again, thank you for this positive note. You always try to tune all of us into this positive note, and that's wonderful. That's
Well,
wonderful.
thank you, Valentina, because I'm not always positive, but on your seminar atmosphere is so positive that it turns me to be positive.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and I think to add a bit to that cockroach, I think that Miss Brill could shake that old woman, which was always saying no to her husband. She wanted to shake her, and she should do it. Also, I think she should talk to that Ermine Code and to discuss and to help her maybe, and also to sing. And this is the way how to start to be alive. And what I learned from this very interesting meeting, just always try to look inside the story and to read between the strokes. It's very interesting,
In line.
and between the lines, yes. And it's interesting to try to try my own experience to all what happens in this story. And it was very interesting to listen to another interpretation of all the participants. Yes, and I would like to thank to Valentina. I liked it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you. And thank you for this appeal to act. It was for me. It was exactly for me. So I'm also at a point in life when I feel that I need to act. Thank you. Yes, Uliana, you?
Oh, I'm surprised with your latest remark because in my eyes you are the most active actor of all of many I know. So I also like the idea of the appeal of acting, being an active participant in your own life, not just a passive passerby. And it's interesting to read the continuation of the story. What conclusions will Miss Brill take from this situation? How will she cope? How will which mechanism will she use? Actually, the list of your mechanisms look like timetable at school. I mentioned the lessons that we all have to, we must take in our life. I think those were the names of the lessons that help us to see clearly what we are hiding, how we are lying to ourselves, how we prevent ourselves from being ourselves, from revealing our identity, our true inner ourselves. And so sublimation, I think it's a state exam. The final step you can take only when you pass all the the other mechanisms, realize them, see them, and refuse them for more constructive ways of living your life.
What a brilliant outline, what a brilliant parallel that you have drawn between those lessons and sublimation being the final exam. So it's really something for us that can inspire, actually, right? That can inspire, follow this way to our true selves. True selves. And sublimation is one of those mechanisms that can help us find.
It makes us actors, not spectators.
Not spectators, right, exactly. Amazing, just amazing. Thank you very much for participation and looking forward to seeing you next time.
I want to thank you for your good taste.
Thank you.
So your choice every time surprises me. It's so subtle, it's so brilliant and exquisite, I would say. Thank you for your good taste in literature, Valentina.
Valentina, thank you for the idea of such seminars, which is combining literature and psychology. It's a very good idea to organize such seminars and in English. So 3 in 1. 3 in 1.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Natasha, would you like to say something?
Yes. Thank you for today's story. It was amazing, just as the last one. And I'm looking forward to see you all again next time. Thank you, Valentina.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.